welcome. This is Raiden back again along with Blood Honey, continuing on with our Honey's Horror series as we are now reviewing the Friday. I did not plan that at all, I swear to God. As we are reviewing the Friday the 13th franchise, and we have just finished watching Friday the 13th Part 2. This is the 1981 sequel to the original film. This one is directed by Steve Miner, who I had mentioned he had directed Halloween H2O, and I think I think Halloween 2, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he actually, because he worked on the first one, he came on board to direct this one because Sean Cunningham didn't really want to direct the sequel, so he didn't come back or anything. But he had toyed around with the idea. It's like, okay, well, if you're gonna do a franchise, it's like, well, he kind of went the anthology route in his head, kind of like Halloween, where it could be maybe different events happening in the woods on a Friday the 13th or whatever. But Paramount, they just wanted to play it safe and just do a straightforward sequel. Now, following the first film, and your reaction to that, how did you feel walking away from this one?
I liked it a little bit better. I guess knowing that it was the same guy that did the one Halloween movie, thinking back, it kind of makes a little bit of sense now. Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't so tired from earlier today, then it's not because the movie was putting me to sleep. Let me tell you. Yeah. That one Halloween movie was definitely boring and putting me to sleep. But this, yeah, I liked it better, for sure.
Yeah, I would say that's also a general consensus. I myself do think, I just straight out think it's a more improved version of the first one. I just think all around the characters are a lot better. I would say a lot of the camera work, the cinematography, and just direction is more improved because they did double the budget on this. So
Yeah,
it's about 1.1 million for the budget. And as far as the kills, I would still put them about on par with the first one, but they are kind of cutaway kills. I mean, because I showed you the new special feature that they added on this DVD for this box set, where they actually uncovered some more of the uncut footage, because the MPAA throughout this series, you'll see that they get a bit trigger happy as far as taking kills out of the movie. So yeah, as far as that goes, did you feel that it is a general improvement with the characters? Did anyone stand out to you at all?
I guess in what way?
Like, did you find any particular characters more interesting, like Paul, the blonde-headed guy? That's
Yeah, you know what? I guess they were all. I don't think anyone was particularly horrible. I mean, there weren't any truly horrible actors or actresses. But yeah, I suppose so, because it just kind of seemed like a vague bunch of older teens, young 20-somethings, camp counselors in the first one, and this one is there was a little bit to them, but still kind of felt like the young group of kids, and then they kind of get offed.
Yeah. And it's hard to try. I'm trying not to compare it to Halloween too much,
Yeah,
but just coming off of that, but knowing it is a literal ripoff, it's kind of hard to not go that route. Yeah, I mean, I will say that throughout the series, they don't really have a staple character, anyone that truly stands out like a Loomis or anything of the sort.
Well, besides
Yeah.
Jason himself.
Yeah, of course, besides the actual killer and all of that, but yeah, they don't really have that one particular continuous character throughout. But the beginning of this one, we do see that Adrienne King, from the first movie, she is killed off at the beginning of this one.
Yeah, that was a pretty...
Yeah.
That's an interesting kill.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, again, going back to the unrated scene, the pickaxe actually goes through her nose, and it's
through the temple and through the nose.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty interesting shot. It's like you wish it was kept in the movie, but yeah, and so they recap the whole first movie. They do this whole, like previously on Friday the 13th type of thing. Yeah, and it kind of just pads out the runtime. Some may think it's unnecessary, but it is what it is. So I would say that I myself, Amy Steele, the final girl in this one, I would say that she is my personal favorite of the series. So did you think that she was an overall improvement from Alice in the first movie?
I'd like to think so. I mean, did she was really good. I guess
Hmm.
the first girl served her purpose, I suppose you could say. But yeah, you kind of get attached to Paul and uh sorry, the other girl,
Pup, yeah.
the new girl.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I generally like them as characters. I like the way they play off each other. Like her and Paul, they both Jenny, her name
Yeah,
was.
there you go.
I feel like they play off each other pretty well. They actually did have good chemistry. I feel like they were easy to kind of root for. They were just very simple,
Mhm.
very grounded. And so if you were to have a character that kind of help tag along with the series, I would think Jenny is actually good because you see at the end of the movie, I mean, she's actually playing it very smart. The way that she's running away from him, when she was hiding behind the bush, he hits him below the belt. It's
Cool.
as he's chasing after, and of course at
Evil,
the
undead, or otherwise,
yeah,
it's still gonna hurt
yeah, yeah.
something.
Yeah, and she puts on the sweater. She actually thinks on her feet, and because earlier she talks about the whole, she looks at it from the perspective of Jason. It's like, well, if you were a kid and this is the situation that occurred,
Well,
how
yeah,
would
because
he?
she was a psychology major.
Yeah,
So,
and she actually is a legit psychiatrist now. Well, I think she's like a couple psychiatrist currently today, because she
oh,
was actually acting a lot back in the day, but she turned around and became that, focusing on family and whatnot.
well, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very,
All that makes much more sense.
yeah, yeah. So that's very cool. Um, so as far as the look of Jason, because of course, going and reacting to this, you actually see that this is the quote unquote sackhead version of Jason.
Oh,
How
okay.
did you think about that look? Did you think it was a interesting way to go about it? Were you expecting the hockey mask or?
No, I knew he couldn't have just started straight out the gate with it. You start somewhere,
Hmm.
and yeah, based on the unmasking later, I'd want to cover myself with a bag too, I suppose.
Yeah, because like I was saying, I mean, the series kind of evolves and you kind of find, because again, before Michael Myers, he had the mask. That was what they stuck with throughout. Again, Jason didn't start off with that. You see as he continues to evolve and he becomes what he's known as today. So yeah, I mean, as far as like I said, comparing to the first movie, I just felt like it did do a lot more improvement. Like I said, with just camera work and just characters overall. And going back to Adrienne King, at the start of the movie, after the first movie, she had actually started dealing with a stalker, a legit, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So,
I didn't know
that,
that.
yeah, so that worried her a lot, and she was, from what I saw recently, she was willing to like come back and do it and stuff like that. But I don't think even she knew 100% what they were gonna do, because it was said before that she would rather have gotten killed off early on just so she can be done with it, so she wouldn't have to deal with that anymore or something like that. Supposedly that was one of the stories behind it. So yeah, that's what happened with her.
Hmm.
And so going throughout this movie, I feel like it really does miss a lot more of the gore effects, because a lot of them are kind of quick cutaway shots. But like
Yeah,
I
what are
said,
you gonna do?
yeah, again, because this series, like I said, the MPAA, they really just like to mess with this one quite a bit. So so like the one kill on the bed with the spear, there's
It
actually
was still pretty impactful, but
yeah,
yeah,
for
seeing
yeah,
the
yeah.
special
Yeah, it really
scenes,
does
yeah.
change your perspective of once you see that one, because yeah, I did think the original cut of that scene worked well enough on its own, but when you do see the full on effect, it's like whoa, it's like that really could have sent the point home. And that yeah, yeah, I, I I didn't mean to do that. I swear I did not. Yeah, and the girl in that scene is actually technically underage because I think they wanted to show more stuff with her, but they realized that she was underage, so like some of that stuff was also cut out as well.
That kind of makes
sense. I mean, you look at her, you do kind of realize like she actually does look a bit younger in the face compared to some of the others, and it's like, well, yeah, okay,
and the mannerisms, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so as far as the climax and everything, how did you feel about the whole unfolding events and everything?
Well, yeah, they were kind of dumb to go over there. Like, ooh, I know. Like going to the graveyard at night for whatever urban legend. And, well, damn, I guess this one's actually real, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jason's shack, as you see in there, that he actually has Pamela's head. How did you feel about that? Like, did you think that looked cool? Did you think it was like an interesting idea, or?
Well, that's what I had referred to in our previous.
Yeah, you say you thought it was a.
I knew there was something somewhere in the timeline, whether it was the head or it was, became the skull, which I think it does. I don't know. But I kind of expected that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because as you get to that ending, it actually, it helps play into the idea of Jason and his whole mindset towards his mom, and helps get into his head and kind of his understanding. Again, like with Michael, he has like no rhyme or reason. He just kind of is. With Jason, is a little bit more psychological play on there. And again, with the way that this is, it says it takes place 5 years later. Which has also been said before. They also like the first 4 movies take place over the course of a few days, but the timeline again in this franchise, it really is not very consistent at all. So it's like you continue on, it really does get very odd. Like at the end, it's like, okay, well, you could interpret that as a dream, and then you get to the end of this movie, and then so you see they go through that whole event. Jason jumps through a window a little later on, and then it cuts to, it's like, where's Paul? Where's Paul? We don't know what the hell happened to Paul. No one really knows. Well, originally it was intended for Paul to die, or at least to allude to the fact that he died, and they were going to zoom in on his mom's head, and her eyes would open and smile to kind of allude to the fact that Paul had died. But they had said the effect looked too bad, and so they kind of cut that, and so you get left with another very non-fully understanding dream type sequence. Did that work for you? Did you think they should just cut after you jumped out the window, or?
Well, yeah, I was wondering about that last bit, because the head, when it was first introduced, looked like a kind of gross decayed head, but then the later one that you're referring to, that definitely looked like someone was just kind of wearing a little bit of a mask. Like it was meant to do something, like you said. It was just weird, I guess. I could tell something was supposed to happen with that, but like it didn't. So, yeah. Like she was going to give him instructions for the next whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it just looked weird.
Yeah, I mean, like the first one, probably should just cut after the jump and not like have the tacked on like weird ending and like leaving you like what the hell to think or whatever. But all in all, like I said, I do think it's an overall improvement of the first one. It's actually, it's one of my favorites. It's very simple, but very fun to watch. I'd say it's about a 3.5 overall. Would you rate about the same, you think?
Actually, yeah, that's what I was gonna say before you said it. So yeah. It was better, but I obviously don't have a favorite because there's only 2 so far, and I'm still favoring the Halloween series.
Yeah.
Even the 3rd one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I will agree with that. All right, so that will do it for our review of Friday the 13th Part 2. We hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to like, comment, and or subscribe. We will continue this on. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.